Hey, welcome on in, guys. Tobin here with you, and thanks for checking out the channel. Hope you're doing well there. If you guys could subscribe, that'd be great, and I appreciate you stopping by. So we got some breaking NBA news today that has Heat fans all in a tizzy, and that is that Damian Lillard, Dame time, is returning to his old stomping grounds. Lillard has agreed to a 3-year deal with the Portland Trailblazers to the tune of $42 million. His deal now includes a player option for 27-28. So after 2 years, he could opt out and sign a new deal. And the deal, well, this one stings. I'm going to get into why the Heat fans shouldn't be upset, but I can't lie that this one hurts. And now his deal includes a no trade clause. I'll say this. I have seen, I never want to say what I see on Twitter is the vast reaction, because I don't think that's true. Like, because I always feel like I weigh mentions more so than the people that retweet or like, which is always the vast majority of the people who interact with some thoughts. And to be fair, I haven't been as hot takey on Twitter as I used to be, because, well, I'm scared of Leroy using it as collateral damage, and coming and having it come back to bite me. But I was in the midst of like hot take mode, just because I was sitting in a waiting room. I had a pet emergency today. Thankfully, my little Sunny Bunny's okay. But as she was in the back, and we were waiting for her to get her eye looked at, this Dame news breaks, and I just see a lot of people pissed. I see a lot of outrage from Heat fans. And again, I don't know if it's everybody, but I do see a lot of it. I see the reaction to it, and I think I'm just genuinely confused. I see a lot of people who are pissed because he went back to Joe Cronin. I can understand that, but ultimately, the guy wanted to go back to his home. His kids are there. He wants to be around his family. And, this is kind of the biggest thing is he's not playing this year. And so I see a lot of people who are sitting here being like, well, this is crazy. He has no chance to win. He has, this is a crazy move. This is not the, what kind of behavior is this for a guy? I'm like, I get it. He may hate Joe Cronin's guts. And he may still have hard feelings about Joe Cronin, but I think that people got to realize with this organizational stuff that it's not like he's got to interact with the general manager a lot. And also you kind of weigh things in this time. And so Damian Lillard is staring in the face of, I have this devastating injury that's not easy to come back from at 35 years old. I have been miserable the last 2 years being in a place I didn't want to be. I want to be close to my home base. I want to be close to my family. I want to be in my house. I want to get better in comfort. And then if I come back the next year, I want to be in a place where I'm not going to get skewered for being washed AF. Like, I understand every bit and reason why he will want to go to Portland, and I definitely think they are reasons that outweigh. I don't really think I'm ever going to fully forgive Joe Cronin. I don't, and this is another thing that I wrestle with, because I don't know how many Heat fans anymore. Like, I do realize that I am getting to an age where, man, there's a lot of Heat fans who are young that I don't know what age they are when certain things happened. And I got to tell you, if you don't remember Dwyane Wade's return to the Miami Heat from the Cleveland Cavaliers when he was traded, I was on the air when that happened. And it was just, it was on the air I was on the air when it was official that he left, and that was crushing. It felt like a funeral. It felt like the city had lost a superhero. We all kind of saw it coming because it was going day by day, and there was a lot of drama and bickering back and forth. But if you don't really recall the Cleveland thing and how that happened, like, don't forget, Dwyane did a year in Chicago. it didn't go great. Him and Jimmy Butler were kind of feuding with the rest of the locker room. He hated his coach, Fred Hoiberg. They get to the end of the year. Jimmy Butler moves on to Minnesota, and Dwyane Wade is bought out. And there was a thought that he was either going to return to the Miami Heat, and he really did the only thing that I think could truly break the Heat fans' hearts, and that was to go join the Cleveland Cavaliers and LeBron James again. And, you know, you get it in hindsight. It's like, hey, he wanted a chance, one last crack at a ring or another crack at a ring and team up with your guy. And, you know, I guess at the time, Dwyane was, 34? You know, still feels like he's got something left. And it was, you know, and it was, dude, it was crushing because as a card-carrying member of Team Petty, and the Cleveland Cavaliers had just gotten to the mountaintop, they had just won the championship, and then they get the franchise icon on their team. Oh, I mean, it was such a blow. But when you saw Dwyane, you know, the Chicago thing, it's like, all right, well, I went to Dwyane Wade's return, his return game when he was a Chicago Bull, and it was weird, but there was a lot of love in that building, man. Everybody loved Dwyane Wade. Everybody. And it was just strange to see this guy in another uniform. But you didn't really have any animosity even towards a Bulls team that the Heat had been in battles with because he went home. He was a hometown kid, and he got to have this opportunity, even though it didn't end up making him any more money. But Dwyane just felt disrespected, and rightfully so. You know, things got so personal between him and Pat Riley with the LeBron James breakup, and them feeling like he held out something about it and made him look a fool, and you know, and they were, him and the ownership were quibbling over money, and it's like, really? Like this, you know, you give Chris Bosh a max at the drop, like we're going to haggle over this stuff. So I understood why he felt like he had to do it, but the Cleveland thing hurt particularly because, you know, he was going to be on a minimum deal. He was bought out. He was going to sign for the cheapskates. And instead of coming back home at the start of the season to the Miami Heat, he kind of was like, they got Josh Richardson, they got Goran, they got Philly Cheese. Like, is that a team I really want to go to? Is there an opportunity for me? And so he chose Cleveland, and it was like, I said this at the time, it was like seeing Superman without his cape, you know, when I saw him in a Cavaliers jersey. But that moment for him of getting to go back in a Heat jersey again, it like completely flipped the player. Like he was Dwyane Wade again. And he just immediately is just giving you moments after moments. And yeah, he's won his rings. Dame hasn't, but Dame is still an icon to that franchise, and he means something to those fans. And so I'm just genuinely, as a guy who is a Damian Lillard fan, and I've said this already, like this is a guy, for a guy who's never put on a Heat jersey, probably one of my favorite players who's never put on a Heat jersey ever. I love Damian Lillard. I totally get this, and so and the Heat fan, there's a few things I just don't really register with this and being upset. Like, okay, you don't get Damian Lillard. I wanted Damian Lillard too. $42 million on top of what he's already making for a guy who's coming back from an Achilles injury. And I can't imagine there's a Heat fan in the world, if they saw the Heat sign him to that deal, you would have been like, love it. $15 million a year to rehab an Achilles. I saw there was a report from, I think it was Hoops Wire or something, that said the Heat were interested in that. There's no way they were going to do that. You know, if you would have got him on, and you know, they say there were multiple offers on this. I don't know if I buy that. I would be surprised, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm buying that. But I do think that there's a little level. People say, how do you forgive Joe Cronin? It's like, oh, Joe Cronin gave him $42 extra million on top of what he's, what he is already going to make from the Milwaukee Bucks. Like, and you get the no trade clause, and you get to be the hero. Like, your fans are going to be so happy you're back. I don't think this was a very hard decision. And then the idea for Miami, like, guys, this is the facts of it. And if you don't believe it, if you don't want to take this, fine. I wanted Damian Lillard as much as anybody. That day when Shams Charania said he only wanted to go to the Miami Heat was about as jubilant as I could be for a non-actual basketball game win. And I was hoping all summer we were going to get the note that it was finally done. You know, I remember going to Bam's camp and asking about Damian Lillard and all the excitement that surrounded that. But when he didn't get traded to the Miami Heat, the window for the Miami Heat winning championships with that core of Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo was over because he was the perfect piece next to those two guys. And the one thing I'll say is with this team, it's one thing to be the final piece to Bam, who he's very close with, and Jimmy Butler, who at the time you're like, all right, he's going to have peak of his power still. He's got one last run in him. It's another thing for Damian Lillard, a backcourt of Damian Lillard and Tyler Hero. Is that going to work with Bam Adebayo? Is that a sustainable? Is that a team that works with what you're expecting? On top of the fact that he's 35, on top of the fact that he's coming off an Achilles, it's just not the same. Like I don't understand the Heat fan who's like mustering up this craziness and this anger towards the organization over this. And I'm telling you, this is somebody who really, really wanted Damian Lillard to be a member of the Miami Heat. I would have loved it. But I can't look at this getting an extra 3 years, $42 million if he wants to go all 3 years, rolling the dice that he's going to be any type of productive small guard, guy who has to run around and chuck up shots. And you're going to hope that he's going to be the same guy? I don't know. Like, I feel like, to be honest with you, I think I get why people are upset because you feel like, hey, man, we fought the good fight against Joe Cronin and everybody laughing at the Heat because, like, really, out of all of this, like, Joe Cronin doesn't come and look at how bad. Damian Lillard is now happy. The Celtics won a championship. The only, people who look like buffoons right now are the Milwaukee Bucks and the Miami Heat. And honestly, the Miami Heat the most because somehow the Bucks still have Giannis. The only poetic justice is going to be if Giannis somehow, has to get traded to the Heat and they can actually pull off getting a star here. But I can't get crazy about this. I really can't. I don't understand the people mad at Damian Lillard from the Heat fan base. I just think that you're just mad at your team. And because I really feel like you would have been just as mad if they gave $40+ million to an injured guy. So yeah, that was my reaction to it. My reaction to it was, I'm happy for Damian Lillard. That seems, I saw the reaction to D Wade. He goes, it's only right. I'm like, that who would know better than him? He'd been there where he had tried to chase one more, after the money, tried to chase one more ring and did it to the fan base being kind of hurt by it, but ultimately felt better getting traded and having those moments. And that's even with Cleveland going back to the finals that season. So I don't get it. I can't muster up really any anger for this. It really would be disingenuous. Like, look, make no mistake, Joe Cronin can still kick the sharpest of rocks. Like, he is, to me, the foil here, and he gets to, now be the guy that's like, nobody's better than Scoot. And he's still got Damian Lillard and Drew Holiday back. That's pretty weird and wild because, he doesn't have DeAndre Ayton, who he thought was like the crown jewel of this trade. And, I don't think, have we seen Time Lord and Malcolm Brogdon move since the trade happened? It is a very strange scenario where they're at. But being upset that the Heat didn't get Damian Lillard at this price with this scenario, like, I would have been a little annoyed and I would have been more perturbed. I would have felt some type of way about it if he ended up, there's reports on like, oh, Tatum was recruiting him. If he would have gone to like the Celtics, or if he would have gone to the Lakers, or if he would have gone to the Knicks, or if he would have gone somewhere that you're just like, oh, and he's still like, they're doing the stash and he's going to go try. Okay, I can understand a little bit the frustration of that. That to me is a scenario where I would understand the Heat fan having like animosity at the team and being mad about it. But him going back to the Portland Trailblazers to for a year where he's not going to play and he gets to go hopefully get healthy and then get to play to his adoring fans again. You guys honestly don't think that's a cool story? I don't know. I maybe I'm becoming a sap in my old age. I'm washed. I'm pushing 40. Maybe I'm getting too sentimental. But I don't know. I just think that's a strange thing. I think I don't know. I have no ill will towards Damian Lillard about this. Seems to make a whole ton of sense. And I hope he comes back happy. I hope we get to see him do what he does best. It's a shame that we never got to see it in a Heat uniform. And I don't really understand why the Heat fan would be mad about it, at him. Like I know people were mad because they're saying, hey, like, why didn't you pull a Jimmy Butler? Like, why did you make it? It's not in everybody's nature to be the bad guy, dude. It's really not. It's not. Like, not everybody has that in them, And mind you, Jimmy Butler is good at it. It was awkward for him too. Plenty of games I was there watching Jimmy Butler try his damnedest to act like he didn't know anybody on the team. And that was a weird scenario. And even where he was trying to act like it was all cool, trust me, when he got back for that game, like, you knew there were ramifications of like, I don't like how I probably behaved about this. It's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing to act like the bad guy. I remember even asking Jimmy about that one day. He's like, I don't understand why I always have to be the bad guy. That was before all the things of making a stink. But, he was talking about it in relation to Philadelphia. It's like, why do I always have to be that? It's not a comfortable thing. And some people don't have it in them at all. So, yeah, I don't know. Damian Lillard, not going to the Miami Heat, never going to be on We've come full circle on some things, guys. No Kevin Durant ever on the Miami Heat. No Damian Lillard ever on the Miami Heat. Go to YouTube, watch some Norman Powell highlights, and get excited about that. Stop crying about this. This is a crazy thing to be upset about. Damian Lillard. You guys you're upset because Damian Lillard's gonna get paid $15 million extra to not play basketball this year, and maybe he'll be back to himself next year off the most devastating injury in the sport.